What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to you. Um, Interesting game. I really enjoyed that game. I feel like it really showed you how good Phoenix is, and it really shows you that the Bucks isn't really that much worse of a team, and this could be a very fun, competitive series. I like the fact that Giannis did play and be productive, getting 20 points, rebounding well, assisting well, and doing the best he can. Missing games, not really having the opportunity to play because of the injury and still being able to be productive and still being a factor. Brook Lopez was a little better than what people thought that he would be in this series, being able to knock down shots from all over the court and really was a big part of what they did is important. And I'm glad that they utilized him the right way and put him in situations where he was able to succeed. But not only that, have an impact. I told you guys, watch out for Aiden, 19 rebounds. Brook Lopez and those guys are not known for great rebounder. And we knew that Giannis would be a little, slower because of the injury takes a lot of his mobility and athleticism away, and Aiden was able to destroy them in the paint like he did in the other series. So that's not really a surprise, but I did tell y'all that's something to watch out for. Another thing I told y'all to watch out for was the pick and roll with Chris Paul. If Chris Paul is hungry and he's in attack mode, it's hard to stop him because he is so quick and so shifty. Plus, he can get his shot off contested or uncontested, and you just seen him just slaughter the Bucks with threes and mid-range shots, and it was really nothing that they can do. I also told you guys that that's what's going to happen, and that's what he was going to do because the Bucks do drop coverage, and Chris Paul eats that type of defense up, especially because Brook Lopez is slower and smaller, and Giannis is not 100% defensively, so they kind of had to live and die with Chris Paul just making shots, and Chris Paul ultimately was able to make them, and it really just hurted the Bucks all night, and there was really no real adjustment that they can make unless they just change their whole defensive scheme to fit the Phoenix team, which isn't that bad considering that you're playing for a championship and you basically want to do whatever it takes that can help you win it. So some minor adjustments might be needed to make for the next game if they want to win it. Other than that, the Bucks look smooth. They look confident. They look well. I feel like they came out and played well. I just feel like Phoenix played better. Phoenix came first. They hit first. They kept coming. They kept going. And ultimately, the Bucks could never really make a legitimate run because Phoenix always either stopped them or they just showed that we came here to play. Devin Booker didn't shoot the ball particularly well at the end of the day, but he was aggressive and you want him to be making shots and making plays. He hasn't really been efficient really in a while in a playoff game, but the fact that he can keep the defense honest by having the ball in his hand and trying to get to his spots, and you have to react to that. You have to pay attention to that. He just hasn't been putting the ball in the basket as well as he was earlier against the Lakers, but he's still doing enough. So where you have to respect him, he's doing enough to where he can be dangerous, and that just opens up so much for his teammates to be able to get their small shots in because all he has to do is find them, or all he has to do is draw in the defenses, and somebody's going to be open. They just got to make the right play or just knock down the shot, and that's pretty much what you've seen Devin Booker and Chris Paul do. Just put the defense in situations where they have to react, they have to make a play, and then you just pick them apart when they make their own decision. They overhelp, they over collapse, and then you just make sure you make the right shot or the right play to make the defense get punished. And the Suns, to me, like I said, was the better offensive team. We pretty much seen that the entire game. Whatever the Suns wanted to do, they basically did it. They got the shots and they got to their spots all game. While I feel like the Bucks had to take some tough ones, especially Chris Middleton, and they just had to live with the result because that's all they was able to get. And you can't really live off shots like that consistently, even though I did think Chris Middleton did the best that he could to make shots and make plays for his teammates. It just ultimately wasn't enough, and that just consistently happens to the Bucks. I told y'all that's going to be a big factor against the Suns because the Suns are better than the Hawks. The Suns are better than that beat up Brooklyn team that they beat. They have a real deal team on their hands, and they have to literally find any type of spot, any type of weakness in Phoenix, offensively and defensively, for them to exploit to have a legitimate chance to win this series. A lot of people feel like even if Giannis was healthy, that the Bucks would still lose this series because the Suns are legitimately that good, and it's not crazy. They have been the number one or number two team in the entire NBA the entire series that they played so far, and also in the regular season. So it's not like this Suns team is getting hot. It's not like this Suns team is just now being good. They have been good all season. They have been good throughout the entire playoffs on both ends of the court, and that's just going to be a challenge for the Bucks that they're going to have to overcome if they want to be NBA champions. So to me, I really look forward to seeing what Mike Budenholzer decides to do defensively. I don't really feel like they had too much of a problem scoring in this game, but you would like to see the Bucks get easier opportunity, whether it's in the pick and roll or off screens, and you would like to see Middleton cut out some of the tough ones and try to get some easier ones to build up his confidence, to get him going early. And Drew Holiday just got to continue to go. He got to be looking for his shots. He has to be picking his spots, and he has to keep everybody involved. And I don't feel like I can really be mad at Drew Holiday outside. He just has to continue to be able to score a little bit more efficiently. At the end of the day, Cameron Payne and Cameron Johnson pretty much gave them some decent bench points. Cameron Johnson gave them the floor spacing and the ability to knock down shots. I feel like Cameron Payne was huge for the Suns to keep the lead because he was able to hit a couple layups and a three that really kept the Bucks away from having a legitimate chance of winning the game, because it just continued to deflate what they were trying to do, and it continued just to make things tougher and tougher for them to come back. So I feel like Cameron did a good job of coming in and protecting it and helping them establish a good lead, to where the Bucks had to continue to fight an uphill battle for them to legitimately have a chance to win, which they could never overcome because of Cameron Johnson, Cameron Payne, and also Chris Paul consistently knocking down shots and Aiden killing them on the glass, and Devin Booker sprinkling in some shots from here and there. All mattered. Mikal Bridges did make some big threes. When the Bucks try to make a run, they just kept coming at the Bucks and finding the hole in the defense, and Mikal Bridges was able to benefit a lot from that throughout this entire game. And I think that that's something that we knew he was capable of doing, and it's kind of interesting to see that he finally was able to get down to it. So I feel like Bridges was huge defensively. Same with Jay Crowder, and I feel like their shots was very open. They took great shots, whether it was from three or whatever, and I feel like that really did hurt the Bucks too. Because they had to collapse, and they had to help off somebody, and those guys just basically was able to hit the open opportunities and just make the Bucks, pay for making a bad defensive play. And that's usually what you want to do anyway when you're playing basketball. You have a lot of tension on you. You just make the right pass. You just make the right shot, and the Suns did that all night. So other than that, I'm looking forward to game two. I feel like the Bucks will have a chance to win it. I feel like Giannis will be healthier. He'll feel better. He'll be more confident in his abilities, and that only helps the Bucks, honestly. And he did, contribute to the best of his ability. It wasn't a 30-point game, but you would take it. The minutes he played, the fact that he hasn't played a lot, he still played pretty well for a guy that hyperextended his leg. And I'm proud of him for going out there and doing whatever he could to help his team win. Even though it wasn't enough, he still went out there and did the best he could under his circumstances and looked pretty good for the most part. And I'm glad he didn't injure himself worse. And I'm glad that he was able to give it all that he got. And this is the championship round. This is your ability to win the Larry O'Brien, and you don't want to squander that opportunity, especially if you don't have to, because you'll never know if you'll ever be back again. This is Chris Paul first time. This is Giannis and his team first time, and these guys are fighting for what it's all about. You put in a lot of practice. You put in a lot of work. You grind so many years to have a chance to win championships, and both of these teams have that ability to do it now. The unfortunate part is one team is going to have to win it and one team is going to have to lose it. We just going to have to see which team is that going to be. But I have to give credit to Phoenix. They went out there and did what they were supposed to do. They handled their business. They got their lead. They protected it, and they walked away with a W. Now they just have to win 3 more times, and the Bucks have to win 4 more. We'll just see who's the first team of the four, who is going to be the team that will win. And at the end of the day, it should be fun to see and watch, as I think this will be a competitive back and forth series, and the best team, will win. And it's good to see Giannis out there and showing that he's going to go out there and do his best for his teammates and, lay it out on the line. And you can't do nothing but respect that. And I had to give him credit on that. Other than that, Quinn Wade, Basketball Austin signing out. Let me know what you guys think. Did Phoenix show that they was better? Is the Bucks still on a level? Is the Bucks underneath a level? Or is Phoenix as good as we thought? This has been a pretty consistent team on both ends of the court throughout the whole year. And to me, they're playing even better in the playoffs. And they pretty much showed that in game one. We just have to see what they do in game two. Was it a fluke? Will the Bucks figure out this Rubik's Cube? Or will Phoenix pick up the first two like they did in other series? And will they be able to finish off the tough, rough Milwaukee Bucks?